Now, with the help of a little automatic transmission, I slid the rails.
Chip, you got a
onto each of those
package!
carriages. It worked like a charm.
Hello! The blower. Molly, stop crying, will you? I know I feel the same way. Muffler. You've got to have a muffler. Fuel pump. A heat exchanger. Here it is. Here it is. The furnace. The furnace.
I got a lot of options when it comes to mounting this furnace. And the reason I've got options, I could put it here, I could put it here. The reason I've got options is because I don't have many tanks under here. I've got one tank behind the axle, my gray tank. And you're gonna see what I'm gonna be doing with that later on. My fresh water is upstairs, right here. I don't have a black tank because we have a composting toilet. Now, most builders would take this furnace, which sips diesel from this tank. This is your diesel tank right here for the Sprinter. I'm gonna run a diesel line to this furnace. I'm gonna tuck it up in here, right? And then everything else is upstairs. I'm actually gonna put this in the protective box that Espar offers. They offer a stainless steel box compartment that this furnace would sit in. Now, it's fine. Like I said, all the builders tuck this thing up anywhere over here and it's fine. In fact, I've got another Espar furnace up front there to assist the chassis. This one's for the house. This makes your hot water. This makes your heat in cold climates. I want this furnace to outlast you. So I'm putting it in the box, and then we'll put the box up here. Now let me go show you what's going on upstairs. So here we are upstairs now. Now, underneath this refrigerator here, as we see, I know for a fact I'm putting my heat exchanger and blower under here, okay? This is a heat exchanger, glycol in, glycol out, and then there's a fan, DC fan that blows air across the heat exchanger, and you get warm air, hot air actually, coming out the other end. That's how we get our heat. I know this is going under here with a vent right here and another one here for the back. This is a central location. It's not a coincidence. Some of my viewers, subscribers, commenters, you've expressed concern that I'm going to be, I got a heat source under the fridge. What, are you crazy? You can't do that. You're going to overheat your fridge. That may very well be the case. But I maintain that Espar in Germany is a very efficient company. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of wasted heat, spillage coming off of this unit. So I'm going to put it under here. Now, if it does prove to be a problem, and it would have to be an awful lot of heat coming off of this thing, because if you remember, this entire box is wide open inside the facade. It's open under here, it's open over here, it's open under here. There's so much ventilation in here, you wouldn't believe it. Anyway, if it does prove to be a problem, I know what I'm going to do to direct that heat back out into the cabin. Remember, this is only to heat the cabin in the cold climates. This will not be running 24/7, 365. Only when you call for heat when you're chilly. This baby, this is a heat sink, a heat exchanger. This is for your hot water. Now, my thinking is I'm going to plant this thing in here. I've got bracketry for all this stuff. It came from Rixon. I'm going to tell you about Rixon. They're a good company. I'm thinking my water tank, as you know, is right here. I'm going to have one line coming off. That's a cold water line. I could branch off that cold and come into this. This is what makes our hot water. The glycol goes in one side and out the other. The water goes in one side and out the other. And it mixes inside here and it gives you hot water. And I'm talking really hot. I need to temper this, otherwise you're going to scald yourself. That's how much power we got in this system. Espar. They should have been made in Italy. Anyway, this may give off too much heat for the fridge. It's quite possible. If that's the case, I've got plenty of other spots I can put it. Look at this little baby. There's not a lot to it. I can put this anywhere. It's heavy. But the basic premise here is that the cold water comes in and then exits. And then it exits as hot water. So that could be in here. If it proves to be too hot for the refrigerator, I'll move it. I'll put it over here. This baby, I think, is going to give me a problem. This is the reservoir. Sorry. This is the reservoir for the glycol. The furnace I showed you underneath is diesel fired. It heats the glycol. This is where the glycol lives. It circulates out of this tank. See that? Out to the furnace. It goes through all the lines. I'm going to bring that furnace line through my floor. I'm allowed to use 30 feet of line out and back. 15 out, 15 back. So this glycol line, which is 170 degrees when it leaves that furnace, is going to go through my floor. It's going to heat the cabin with the air. It's going to heat your hot water. Now, when it heats the hot water, it's not going through the floor, okay? We don't want a hot floor in the summertime. I got that figured out. What I don't have figured out, this can be heated with the furnace to make your hot water, sipping diesel when you're out in the woods. It can also be heated with 120 volt electric if you're tagged in somewhere. If you're at a campground or you got shore power, we can make hot water with the shore power. No need to use the diesel in the furnace. I wanted to bring this inside. There's two issues. You've got to have access to this filler. You got to fill this thing. It's like your radiator, okay? You got to fill it. I think that antifreeze, glycol, antifreeze, whatever you want to call it, I think that has an odor. And I'm concerned about having this in the cabin. It would be really nice. Now under here, if you needed to have access to this thing in order to fill the glycol, it would have to be near the front. Now there's two issues with that. First of all, yeah, it's nice and easy, but do you really want to bring glycol into your cabin and fill this thing? No. So this is going to go somewhere else. It may go in the back. It may go up front. Now, all the other builders put it where the second or third battery would go. Your chassis battery is under the driver's floor. You could put a second battery under the passenger seat. You could put a second or third battery up front under the hood. That's where they place these things, under the hood, up front, in place of that battery. I may do that. I may not. I may put it in the back. Like I said, I'm concerned about access and I'm concerned about odors. So I'm going to work on that. But basically, I've got all this area for these systems and this little spot right here. Now, what happens if this heater core is too hot for the fridge? I might be able to put it under here. You know what that means? The residual heat coming off this thing in the winter, it's going to warm your clothes. You're going to put on warm socks and a warm flannel. Do I get lucky or what?
Chip, you got a package.
Good. Come in and do it again.
Nope.
Did I go too fast?
Yeah, I didn't follow that fast. Try it again.
All right, follow me again. Well, it may very well prove to be a problem. I don't know about that for sure. Let's start again. Because I keep looking at that screen instead of looking at the lens. So we'll try it again. Here we go. Now here we are. Oh, I did it again. Look at the lens. What's the matter with you? Big dope. Molly. Oh, you're such a pretty girl. Come here, you. Come here, you pup. Oh, you're such a good girl. Oh, you're such a good puppy. Oh, I love this pup. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. Say hello. Say hello to everybody. You like that? Oh, I know. Here, put these on. Let's see what you look like. No? Good girl, Molly. Good.